All right, y'all. So, yesterday I did a little short, right, to show the different gaskets materials, right, how one is thicker than the other. So you can see here, this is the 1.6 millimeter gasket, right, and this one here is the 0.8 millimeter gasket. So I did this once already. I didn't put this on video, but I'm gonna do it again. So what I ended up doing the first time was I made 3 of the thick ones, and what it ended up doing was it ended up raising the cylinder too far up, and it left a 2.5 millimeter gap between the top of the piston and the top of the deck, right? So obviously that was going to be an insane squish band, right? So what I ended up doing next time was I ended up taking one of these, took two of the thick ones off, right, and then I used 2 thin ones, and then this thick one here. And so what that did was that left like about a 0.1 millimeter of space between the top of the crown, the top of the piston, and the top of the deck, right? So that's about good, because the head gasket, these copper head gaskets, they're 0.8 millimeters themselves, right? So with this being 0.8 and you're having that 0.1 up here, it would be about 0.9 squish, right? So which is pretty much what I'm gearing for. So again, these are the 3. You can see here they're all nicely cut. So we'll put them on here, and we will get you guys a little closer. We'll put them on here, and then we'll see how that all goes. Yeah. So first one, oh, and then the way I had to do this was I had to put the thick one on first, and then the thinner ones on after. Now again, these do compress again about 0.4, and then I don't know how much this one is going to compress, because I've never used this thick one, so I don't know how much it's going to compress. But you know, we'll find out as we use it, right? So we're going to go thick gasket first. And also something else I had to do, just because I'm not sure if it has to do with the head that I'm using, because I also found out some stuff last night too about this head. But one of the things I had to end up doing was I had to end up buying some of this Permatex high tack gasket sealant, and what this does is it's just a dressing just to create an even stronger seal with the gaskets. Just because last time what I noticed is that, again, the engine was acting like as if it had an air leak, and when I took off the gaskets, these were all just soaked, right? And so something was going on there. I don't know if potentially it was coming from the bottom up. One of the things that I was told is the previous person who had this, they used the Moto Seal for literally everything, from the crankcase to, you know, your the base and the spacer and all that, right? So this whole thing was full of Moto Seal and all that. So the gasket sealant will then help, you know, dressing it with this gasket sealant will then help create, you know, fill any just spots here that may not be even, right? Or not even, but just any abnormalities, you can call them, right? So the other thing that I found out was I'm using a smaller head, but this is a head for a YD100. You notice that there's no grooves here. Normally there's grooves here. Well, I was able to get a hold of Ethan, and he let me know that this may still work. You know, this bore is obviously a little bit bigger than 47.6. It's most likely going to be a 50 millimeter, which it's actually more like 52. So it's a little bit bigger than, hold on, let me get it. Actually, it's even bigger than that. Looks like it's actually 54. So you can see we're at 54 here. So it's, and I'm at a 47.6. So this is quite larger than it should be. Now, Ethan did say that potentially the squish band may leak, but when I took this off using both the O-ring and the copper head gasket, there was no oil or anything of that fuel, anything mixture on this or on the O-ring itself or anything. So I'm not sure if that was necessarily what was leaking or not. So what I do have, just in case I can't use this, which is a shame because it's a beautiful head, but I could potentially use it for something else. I do have another build that's 54 millimeters that I will be doing. It's a horizontal Minarelli. It's also 50 by 50 spacing. So if I cannot use this, I do have it's just a regular CNC head here that's 50 by 50 that has the correct dome size and all that in it, right? So what I'm thinking about doing is trying it one more time with the smaller head, because I love these heads, man. It's beautiful. But again, if it doesn't work, my understanding, I didn't realize this, that the engine was originally built using this head, right? So a part of me honestly just wants to skip using the smaller head and go to this, just because this is how it was originally built anyways. And again, with that being 54 millimeter bore, it's quite a big board for this small of a piston, right? So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up as like, move this up and try to get the test, the squish band all right and all that good stuff, right? So I will end up, after I test this out first, I will end up putting this on all of the gaskets again, to just create a better seal and make sure that any air leaks that could occur don't occur at all. I did put some, you can see here, I put some on the crankcase gasket, right? So you can see it's all sealed up there really well. And then I did put some on the gasket for the G2 rear intake as well. So this stuff works really well. I've used it in the past. I haven't had to use it before. I haven't had to use it since I used it once in the past. And it was initially on my first build. How just when you're using the speed NT and you have that air leak sometimes here at the inlet. I use it there to take care of that, but once I upgraded to the Athena and all that, I never had to use it again. But in this instance, I feel like I do, so I will do that after the fact. So again, we have the 1.6 millimeter gasket here, all the way pushed down. We're going to put our spacer on. Oops. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to test something with you guys first here, right? Because I'm interested to see how it would work if I do 2 thick gaskets and 1 thin gasket. Right, so let's take a look at that. Let's see here how this ends up working out. Alright, so now we got thick gasket, spacer, thick gasket. We're going to do the shim that I made. Alright, and then we're going to go with a thin gasket this time. Alright, so now, again, we have our thick gasket, spacer, thick gasket, shim, thin gasket. So let's get our jug on, and then let's see how this all turns out. thing always loves to give me trouble. There you go. Alright, so now I'm gonna see what top dead center looks like here. Alright, so now looking at this here, you can see top dead center should be good there. So I'm gonna see what that is. Let's measure this real quick here. Let's see what we can get out of this here. Alright, so let's see here what we can get. So according to this, we're at 1.8. So that's not exactly where we want to be, but let's make sure that I didn't move this down. Back down here. Yeah, that's 1.8. So let's say we compress this. Yeah, it might get to 1, and then you have the 0.8 gasket, so we're going to probably be like at a 1.6 squish or so, I take. So what I'm going to do is remove the thick gasket, and then we're going to go and put 2 thin gaskets on, and then we'll try it that way, because it was a little bit better when I did the 2 thin gaskets. So now we got our 2 thick ones over here. We're going to put these to the side, get our thin ones back on. So now we'll do this again. And now you can see here we're much better. We're actually right at the very top. So I'm going to just make sure I didn't mess this up here. So there it goes down. right there. Right, so as we measure this, I believe we're just under a millimeter here, so this is good here. As we push this down, I'm gonna push this down here. But as you can see here, pressing this down, we're right at the a perfect setup. So I can add the gasket on there, and then what I'm gonna actually do, man, I'm gonna actually just try this head here. I love the smaller head, but I just don't want any more issues. I want to be able to have this thing going. It's beautiful. So let me just slap on that CNC head. You know, take the loss on the smaller head for this build. It's okay. I can take to him and, you know, order one specifically for this here in the future. But for now, let's just go with this. Let's go with this other head here. What I'm going to do here for the first thing is I'm going to remove this spark plug. With, I guess, oh, here it is. Maybe not. We'll just. Alright, so let me get the copper head gasket on here. Well, obviously we're not going to remove that out of the way there. So let me get the copper head gasket on. Alright, that's on. Now, there we go. BP8HS, so I like that. I like that. Although I do like the one in here though. Let's see if I can take this off of here. This one is BR8HS. I feel like they're about the same. Alright, so take that off of there. Get that off of here. So let's see here. let's test out squish, see what we can get here. This here is about 1.4 millimeters thick, right? So we'll do it this way. 1.4 millimeters thick, right? So, or 1.6 it looks like. 1.5. So obviously we're hoping to get a 0.8. 0.9 somewhere in there. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to turn this around some, just so that I can properly get this set up. Alright, so let's see what we got here. So I'm going to measure this again here. This came out at 0.4, so that's not right. If it's 0.4, that means I'm going to potentially need a thicker gasket. 2 thick gaskets and 1 thin gasket. So let's try this again. Let's try this again. Let's see where we get our squish. Try this again. Alright, so here we go. And it's the same damn thing. So I'm going to need 2 thick ones and a thin one. Just measuring the thinnest point comes up at 0.5. So we're going to need, we're going to need a thick gasket, another thick gasket, and then a thin gasket. So let me get started on that. Alright, so here's that thick one again. Alright, here we go. I don't know why it's a little struggle to get this damn thing on. It genuinely isn't too much of a struggle. There it goes. Oh, pinched my finger. Alright, so. Oh shit, fuck me. There's your blooper for the day. Forgetting to put the damn space on. Alright, there we go. Let's try this again. You know what? Always a pain in the ass. Always a pain in the ass. So I think that might actually be better than the first time. So let's check it out this time. Alright, gaskets all on. Cut. So now, kick this back in here again. Pick this up. And let's see where we are now. And now we're officially at a point 8, sorry, 0.9 it looks like. So that's good. I want it anywhere between 0.8, 0.9. So we are exactly where I want to be. Right, so with 2 thick gaskets, 1.6 millimeter each, and then the 0.8 millimeter gasket. Right, so 2 of these thick ones here, right? And then 1 of these thin ones here. Got me the 0.8 squish there. So there you have it. Just a quick video. Obviously not that quick, but I'll make sure I'll edit this out and whatnot. But just, you know, quick video there on how to set your squish and how I set mine for the airsail. Alright, so there we have it. See, here we got the gaskets along with the gasket sealant. The sealant comes off with a lacquer thinner, so it's very easy to come off. So I could, you know, technically clean up some of the stuff here, but I mean, really at the end of the day, there's really not much to clean up, honestly. Right, so everything is looking good. I didn't torque it down the bolts all the way on for the head yet, obviously, right? I mean, it's quick drying. This stuff is super tacky, like super quick drying, so I don't have to necessarily wait for it to, like, quote unquote cure, right? But I was just gonna wait anyways. I'm losing daylight anyways, so I gotta, like, move on to the next stuff. So but there you guys have it. Just wanted to show you guys that again. All is complete.